Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter placement. Let's get into it. So the first card you have for today, Aries, is the Five of Swords, and it further says conquer. So Five of Swords, this is the air suit, and it's a minor arcana. You see the picture. There is this robot kind of a structure, very armored, is just jumping through the city that is up in flames. So there's a lot of fire here, and fire, of course, you're the fire sign, you're the cardinal fire sign, but there's a lot of devastation behind this robot, and I feel that this energy is indicating to you, in general, Five of Swords is like argumentative energy. It's the energy of winning at any cost. And here, you're getting a chance to see what that cost could look like. The landscape behind is fully destroyed. So that's what this conquest would leave behind, should you choose to engage in it. Now, if you get to this reading before the next few days, just know that this is the energy which is around you. And I feel that, yes, Five of Swords is like winning at any cost. It's like, and I feel that this is kind of a verbal argument more than any kind of a physical or any other kind of an argument or discussion or differences. This is all going to be verbal. So when you win at all cost, which means that you're saying things, you're going back and forth, it's not pleasant. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of fire. And it's burning the city down. It's burning building down. So do you really want to do this, Aries? Is the question that you will need to ask yourself. This could be like a real big disagreement or some kind of a competition. It's a genuine brutal conflict. But then, if you engage into winning at all cost, the price you pay might be really big. The price you pay would be really big. You leave a lot of bruise damage, maybe irreparable damage, when it comes to humans and relationships. This kind of, the city can be redirected. The city can be cleared. The cement can be re-erected. The buildings can be re-erected. But relationships, it doesn't work the same way. So unless you're actually involved in a scenario where, this is the actual scenario which is taking place around you, which I hope not. I hope there are not buildings on fire like this. I hope you're not in places where there is natural calamities. But I feel that, Five of Swords can be that there is a geopolitical conflict, and that's the area that you are in. For some of you, that could be a possibility. Now, in this case, nothing really can be done, you just need to protect yourself in whichever way possible. It's better to just leave the scenario. But otherwise, when it comes to a mundane level, on a day-to-day level, this could be a conflict, which maybe it's necessary. Sometimes the conflict is necessary. Sometimes confrontation is necessary. But then when you feel that you're heading towards the conflict or some kind of disagreement, you need to first do an honest assessment of what kind of conflict is this. What are you going to get with winning? What's the outcome? What's in it for you? Because this could become really big. So I feel that even though you might be tempted, and the conflict, it doesn't have to be a power game. It could be that, there is a difference in ideas. There is a difference in values. It could be that this is a conflict about, something in regards to integrity, values, ideas. This could be it. Some of you could be having this discussion around what idea is good, what is a bad idea. For some of you, you could be in a conflict because of somebody having less integrity. You've sent some kind of foul play around, or this could be a battle of some kind of related to values, your higher values. But do you want to engage in this conflict, especially when it comes to people? You know, in the times that we live today, it's very hard. People live. It's very hard to reconcile differences as it is. It's very hard to reconcile differences. It takes a lot in today's times to reconcile differences. I mean, let's get real, right? I mean, human relationships are very sensitive. They're very delicate. The trust is broken easily. Trust built over years is broken easily, and it takes years to build that trust. So do you want to get into this conflict and really ruin it all? Yeah, especially when this is in regards to established relationships. So you will have to be really smart about this, because this energy of the of Five of Swords is actually the energy of the planet Venus transiting through Aquarius. Aquarius is a air sign. And of course, Venus is like the positive and positive energy. But I feel that, it could be that your conflict is in regards to the people that you are around. So, and also Aries, you are the first sign. You're the cardinal fire sign. Your energy is ruled by Mars. Mars is your ruler, the warrior. So I feel that at this point in time, you need to assess, that's what a warrior does, right? You need to assess. Is it necessary for me to engage into this conflict or argument? And if I choose to, am I ready to bear the cost? Because I feel this damage in terms of human relations is going to be irreparable. So do you want to go this route, or do you want to go with the non-harmful route? Do you want to go with the non-harmful route? Which means that, you don't need to engage in fights. You can still win, by passing up on the fight. And I feel that's the real victory. You're the bigger person. So engage in things that or engage in discussions which will not cause any mental, physical, emotional destruction or relationship destruction. Only those conflicts you should engage in that are healthy, that are done in a healthier way, that will not heat up, that will not destroy anything. Like Five of Swords, it could be a healthy discussion, especially at office places. Not every discussion is destructive. So Five of Swords is a healthy verb, in a healthy way, when it's done in a healthy verbal way, where we are trying to discuss the pros and cons, weigh out, balance out, weighing the goods, the bads, come up with different processes, different ideas. Just like a healthy debate which goes on stage. That's a Five of Swords energy, because people are competing against each other. But everybody knows it's a healthy debate. And when done in a healthy manner, without any personal comments, without any personal judgments, without using harsh words, without having negative intentions, without a showdown, when it's done in a healthy way, it leads to betterment, it leads to better outcomes, it leads to something constructive. So even if you choose to engage in a conflict or a conflicting kind of a situation, make sure that there is a healthy way of going back and forth with the arguments. And, when the outcome comes of this conflict, make sure that it's a goal or it's an outcome which is worth engaging in any kind of back and forth. Because, no matter how much back and forth is done in a healthy way, it still sometimes leaves a bitter taste. It sometimes does leave a very bitter impression. So again, you need to ask yourself that question, that is it worth it? Because you might be tempted to. The energies might push you into it. So I feel that weigh up the gains and the losses and then choose to engage in any kind of sharp communication or, back and forth, or to heat it up, or to use any verbal abuses or any negative connotation, negative energy into this. Try not to use any of that, because the trust will be lost. The destruction is real. And here the card is showing what level of destruction this energy could actually cause for you. And now that you get to see it ahead of time before the energy hits you, it will be easy for you to navigate. It's just avoid the situation if you can. Don't get into it. Any kind of argument, no matter what. So in the next few days, if you see that a situation is not harmonious, then just understand that getting into conflict is not going to serve you well. You need to ask yourself, like, why am I even here? Why am I even participating? Is the outcome that important to me? Or can I just let it slide for now? Now, for some of you, this could be like through text messages or emails. So make sure you're not immediately responding, It's like, what's that called? It's called reflex. I think it's called reflex answering or something like that, where it's our first go-to way to react to any situation, It's like the reflex, the reflex, the natural reflex. So read every message. Make sure that it's not negative, it's not hurtful, it's not sharp. If this is an email, make sure that it's, again, very humbly and very neutrally written, without any fluff and without any negative words or connotations. Now, for some of you, this could be, now, if this is about a competition, an actual competition, which means like a sports competition or a dance competition, then you need to understand, like, what's the cost of victory? Sometimes, especially in sports area, people get aggressive, and they hurt the players. They cause hurt deliberately sometimes, just in order to get a goal or to win. So you have to ask yourself, is hurting someone, physically hurting someone, and to win a sport or to get a 1-pointer or to get some more points, is that actually worth it? Do you really want that at the cost of hurting the players or injuring the players? Now, this could be a situation around you, in your neighborhood, in some community that you're a part of. Maybe some people around you are in this energy, that they want to conquer, they want to win at all costs, and you might be a part of the equation in some way. Your best bet would be not to respond. That's your best bet. Don't respond if the situation doesn't require for you to respond. Don't escalate the situation. Because if you are able to stay calm in that situation, you are inevitably you're kind of having this in your hands. You can keep it in your hands. Now, for some of you, if this come with this kind of Five of Swords energies playing out in your deals, like, some kind of negotiations or some kind of, if you're a business owner, maybe you are negotiating with the vendor in terms of the raw materials, and the vendor is saying, no, I have to increase it, the inflation's gone up, I'm going to increase the price by, 10 times, and you're like negotiating back and forth that we cannot do this, it cannot be more than 5 times, or it cannot be more than 2 times, or it cannot be more than whatever amount. So you're kind of going back and forth. The reason, not your personal victory, but it's just that the organization that you work for is going to benefit. And then the customer will also have to pay a little less price. So the customer at the end will also benefit from this kind of a back and forth. So it just depends. What is your situation? Where are you arguing, negotiating about? Is it just about a personal victory, or is it, some kind of an investment into your company? So I do feel, Aries, that there is some kind of a decision here, some kind of assessment here. Before you get into your warrior mode, you need to ask yourself, like, are really honest. You need to get really honest with yourself because the card over here is very honest with you. It's showing you in the background that the buildings are burning. So it's showing you the loss that can be, or the damage that can be caused due to this kind of engagement. So even if you have to get into a negotiation battle or some kind of back and forth, make sure that it's for a genuine purpose. Not everybody is worth fighting, and not every battle should be fought. Not every argument, needs to be won. Not every argument that can be won needs to be won. So at the end of the day, even though this is like, yes, you're fire and energy, and you are a warrior, you have the capacity to win, to conquer. And this energy is available to you. But what are you doing with it is the question that you need to ask. Are you building something sensible, something tangible, or are you destroying things? That's going to be the big question for you. The next card you have, Aries, is the hare and oak, and it further says new opportunities. So this is number 3, and 3 is the number of growth, of fertility, the Empress. I feel that with this hare, the hare is, look how fast it's going. You can see how fast it's leaping towards something. It's leaping towards something. It's going towards something. And I feel that for you too, in the next few days, Aries, then it says new opportunity. So there is something that will be presented to you that you can actually take that forward leap towards. A really big leap. And I also feel that, look at the hares, fully engaged, fully dedicated, fully committed to moving forward to the keep, to grab something. It's not a half-hearted effort. And I feel for you also an opportunity will present that you will need to leap forward and grab and stay committed to it. Now, there's a lot of acorns, there's a lot of oak leaves out here. And, when it comes to the oak trees and the acorns, I feel these are opportunities. I feel acorns are the opportunities out here. It's the fruit. So I feel that one opportunity could lead to, fruitful outcomes, or it could lead to multiple further opportunities or possibilities. And because it's an oak leaf, it's solid. I feel there is solidity to this, and yeah, so I do feel an opportunity is coming, which you might have to be very smart about because, we already know about how smart the rabbits are, the hares are right there. Their intelligence they're famous for their intelligence. So you have to be very smart about recognizing what that opportunity is for you and what possibilities it holds for you. But once you've done that, I feel that this is going to be a solid one. You'll have to stay committed. You'll have to act fast. But it's going to be a solid one. And I also feel that it's going to lead to a lot of fertility, abundance, growth, opportunities, possibilities. And this is not like a flyby, surface level. I feel this is a deep-rooted, solid opportunity. And I also feel that it's going to come to you because we're heading into the season of Gemini. Sun is in Gemini right now. Gemini is the air sign, it's all about communication. Studying, travel, neighborhood and all that. Connections, friends, social circles, learning, information, all of those areas is the domain of Gemini. And Sun being in Gemini, I feel is I feel that this is going to be, this opportunity will come to you through your contacts, through connections. Could be in the neighborhood, could be someone that you talk to, maybe in your social circle, maybe through a connection, maybe through some information. It doesn't have to be through a connection. It could be through social media, could be through social groups, could be some kind of information. Somebody passes you an information and it comes through that. But I do feel that this opportunity is coming to you through some kind of information or conversation. Maybe even like, somebody reaches out to you through a text or through an email or something like that. Or maybe even verbal communication, but is through a communication. And you will have to move fast on this opportunity. I mean, not recklessly. You have to, of course, analyze that. Is this opportunity worth your time, energy, and investment, especially if it needs monetary investment. So you will have to do that assessment before. It's not going to be a reckless jump because, rabbits and hares are fast thinkers. So you will have to think fast, of course. You'll have to be smart about it. You can't just buy into anything anybody says. And you had the Five of Swords energy before this, Aries. So you will have to be mindful that this opportunity does not lead you into the Five of Swords conflicting energy. So make sure you're not jumping towards a conflict. So that will have to be, you will have to be very smart about that, like recognizing that, is this the right chance? Is this the right opportunity? Is this real? Is this rooted? Is this grounded? Is this superficial? Or is it really long-term sustainable? Does it have solid grounding? Because yes, you're going to get the rewards, if you act fast, but then you cannot be reckless about it because, see, your archetype, the Aries archetype, also is represented by the Fool in the tarot. The Fool energy is associated with the collective Aries archetype. So you cannot be acting impulsively or a foolish opportunity. You cannot choose a foolish opportunity. You cannot be reckless about it or foolish about this choice. So I do feel that it's a good time. It's the right time. Of course, everything works under divine timing. It's the right time. But maybe you're not even expecting it. It could be something unexpected, of course. Nobody can predict where opportunities will come from, so it's got to be unexpected. But yeah, this is something that's not in the works. It comes to you suddenly. You had not expected. Like, sometimes we expect, like, there is somebody who is, opening an office and maybe they will hire me and because I'm in talks with them. So I kind of have hopes that they will hire me. It's not that kind of a situation. It's something that you're not even aware about at all. Now, when it comes to speed, this can also be opportune. The only thing that comes to mind in speed is, of course, fast-moving. Everything is fast-moving today. So contracts and everything is fast-moving, and there's a lot of candidates, and we have to jump on opportunities in real life as well. And it could be in any field, right? Creatives or corporate or anything. These opportunities just come and go fast. And we have to be really quick about it in the real world in today's times. But when it comes to speed, it can also be about sports like soccer and other games, other games. So for some of you, this could be opportunities in regards to sports or, the right timing. You got the ball at the right time. You threw it at the right time. You saw it at the right time. For some of you, it could be those momentary catches, the right catch, the right throw, the right move, the right league, the right team, the right opportunity. And all of those can also be something that you could get unexpectedly, especially if you're a sports person. And I do feel that if you manage to recognize it, if you sign up for it, if you commit to it, it's going to be a very fruitful one. It's going to be a fruitful one. It's going to be a blessed one. It's going to open up new possibilities for you. But it just should be the right one, you should be able to tell it from how your body feels, how you react, that it's the right and genuine one for you, it's genuinely right for you, and that it's not that superficial one. It has solid roots, is something that you will have to assess really fast, and then commit to it. So avoid the Five of Swords energy for sure. It's around you. But if you have the information that this energy is around you and it's not worth it, it might derail you. You might lose this opportunity. Don't go in for a Five of Swords energy at all. Do whatever it takes to navigate it, even though if you have to kind of, suck it up for a bit, and it happens all the time. People say things, sometimes they don't mean it, sometimes they do mean it, sometimes it hurts, sometimes we have to get over it. But then, if you can avoid the Five of Swords energy, this is the reward from the universe, an opportunity that will really make you happy. And of course, if you feel like, things need to change up a little bit, the contract needs to change up a little bit, of course, you can always navigate those terms and conditions. Nothing's set in stone. So be mindful that you're actively engaged throughout it. And the last card you have for today, Aries, is a message from Cosmos. And it further says, forget safety, live where you fear to live. Take a chance, dare to dream, risk pays off. So yes, like I said, the hair. There is an opportunity coming. It might come really fast, and you might feel that, it's a risk. But again, calculated risk is what the fool takes, not a reckless one. The Aries energy is all about taking calculated risk. That pays off sometimes, that we have to have our wits about it. We have to weigh the pros and cons, feel through the situation to see if it's genuine or not, and see how much is the investment, and also have, especially when it comes to investments, if you're doing a monetary investment, make sure that you have the record of everything, you have details, contracts, everything written down, and, in a proper professional way, everything needs to be done so that, so that there is no room for failure, so that there is no room for scams and all of that. So, and honestly, we grow when we take those calculated chances, right? If you're always in a comfort zone, then the growth is low. So I feel that this is a chance, but it might seem risky. You need to analyze the risk. Don't get impulsive about taking a chance just because you got a ticket from the universe. That's not what it means. It shows a nice castle out here. So I don't know if this is like a castle. It looks like a castle or a tower or some kind of a, castle like here. Neon glow signs. So maybe, you're in a place that has all these neon glows or towers or castles or something like that. And maybe it's about that. Maybe it's an investment into some kind of building that you have to make. But then make sure that you have everything documented, written down, assessed, analyzed, and then you go for it. But do it fast. So Aries, those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Leo. The first card you have, Leo, for today is the Honor, and it's in the reverse for you. Looks like an Emperor to me, major arcana, or actually it's a King of Swords, sorry. It's a King of Swords, but it's the Honor, and it's in the reverse for you. King of Swords is like a very intellectual energy, right? So when the Honor card is in the reverse, if you look at the picture, it's a dark scene, this king is wearing an armor, fully armored. There's a sword, and there is a scepter as well. And yeah, it's a little bit of an intense energy, especially with the King of Swords energy or the Emperor energy at play. And in the reverse, it is a little bit intense, but not in a bad way for you, Leos, because I feel that honor in the reverse is, first of all, the word honor in the reverse, people will interpret it as dishonor. That's not what this is all about. This is about analyzing what the word honor actually means. in the reverse, especially in this deck, Leos, here it's a call for you to kind of define, for your own self, not for anybody else, not for the community or society, not for a performance when you step outside the house. But this is something to be analyzed. This is something to be analyzed when you are in your house by yourself. This is not like an external energy. This person is alone by himself. And specifically for you, Leo, you're the fixed fire sign. Sun is your ruler. And while Leo are large-hearted people, but then there is, every archetype, whether it's Leo or any other archetype, has a positive and a negative spectrum to it. And we cannot ignore that side of it. We cannot ignore the negative side of it, because when it comes to, the energies, they kind of enable us to, do a deep dive, do a cleanse, do a deep dive, do a deeper understanding in all of that. And that's the real purpose of readings, right? So that we get the clear picture of what exactly is going on and where is the problem, what can be fixed, what can be done, and all of those things. So here, I cannot, I cannot fluff this up. I cannot sugarcoat this in any way. And I have to say it exactly how the energy is coming through to me. Now, you can take a moment and interpret it yourself, but I'm going to tell you exactly how the energy is coming through with this deck and this card. Every card, every deck has a different energy to it. And this deck specifically is asking you to take a look at the negative spectrum of the Leo archetype, which is like a prideful energy. So here, the moment is asking you to analyze or to ask yourself, what is it? Like maybe you have to take a close look at what this honor means for you, what the dignity, the honor, what does it mean in the truest sense? Is it a performative term for you, or is it something that you truly stand by? And what does honor mean for you? Honor in a generic sense is about what you say and what you do should match up. It's like living up to your values, standing up for your values. Also, is it performative? Like, do you think you're performing a certain kind of status? Are you in that situation that has to perform that you are of a certain status? And analyzing this is not going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable. But if you are courageous enough, which you are because you represent the lion, if you're courageous enough to take that deep dive, you will get the honest answers. So here we are looking at a term called integrity, honor, grace, values. What does it mean for you? Are your actions aligned with that? Or do you say something else and do you do something else, especially when it's under pressure, especially when it's at work? Do you say something? Do you walk the talk? Do you say what you mean? Or you just say things for the sake of saying it to keep that status, or to keep that, to make people, or to make you appear a certain kind of way when people are looking at you? Is that why you say and do things? Is it a performative honor? Or are you genuinely in that energy of, high integrity, authenticity? Are you coming from that space of genuine who you are? Are you displaying that to the people? Or are you performing? Like, are you wearing a mask? Or are you performing a kind of like, I'm the one that needs to be respected, honored, and all of that? So what is your take on, on the honor? Because it's reversed. So what are your values? What do you do when nobody's watching? Is something that you need to watch out for yourself. Watch your actions. What do you do? What do you say when nobody's watching? Or do you just flip when people are watching? So what is it that you do is going to be different for each one of you, but there is a gap out there, and that's why this honor is in the reverse, and you have to understand that gap, like where it's coming from. And honestly, I've read a lot of therapy books it, a kind of when we have to perform a certain thing, it kind of adds a little bit of stress into our lives. But when we come from a place of honesty and authenticity, it actually feels really good. It's less, it's stress reducing when we portray ourselves to be exactly who we are, versus when we have to perform a certain type of way. Because, that keeps you on guard all the time. Like, I have to be performative. I have to do this because people are watching. They think a certain type of me. They put me in a certain light. They see me in a certain light, and I have to live up to their expectations, So that's under question. That's under assessment for you in the next few days. So are you aligned with what you say and what you do? Are you consistent with how, are you consistent with your actions? Or do you do something just when people are watching, and when nobody's watching, you flip completely and do something different? So that's something you will have to analyze by yourself. It's hard to tell where, the performance or where the gap is for you. Also, because Sun is in Gemini, so the emphasis is going to be on communication. Like, how do you communicate, when you're in the middle of an audience, or how do you say who you truly are? How do you communicate who you truly are? How do you show who you truly are? How do you show up in your social circles, or in your work, or in your neighborhood, or in your family? So you will have to get very honest with yourself about any kind of performative or demonstrating a certain type of behavior versus doing something when you're on your own, or when you're, when nobody's watching really. Now, if this is not your energy, you could be in a certain type of environment, where leaders of your organization are saying something different and are doing something different, So that's another level of this honesty or honor reverse, where the leaders are not being honest. Or maybe, how the corporate operates. Like, what are their values and what are they actually doing, What are their practices? Is it fair practices? Is it high values? Do they claim that, or do they just claim it and do something opposite? It's something that you probably are going to watch in your environment. This could be something happening in your environment as well, where people have to call, the leader is out, like whistleblower energy, that people are seeing that there is, some kind of mismatch between what the organization is seeing and doing. So you could see some whistleblowing moments as well for some of you. But in general, this energy is asking you to just realign yourself, think things through. And if you feel there is a gap, if you feel there is scope for improvement or realigning, how you project yourself, or how you portray yourself, or what you say, what you do, if there is a gap in any way, shape, or form, then this is your moment and opportunity to realign all of that instead of just performing it. Because you need to ask yourself, like, how do you show up in the world? How do you move through the world? Like, is it a genuine reflection of who you truly are at the core, or are you always in a performative mode? So when you look at those answers in a most honest way, being honest with yourself, something really powerful and useful will come out of that assessment that will help you align your actions, your words, and will, release the pressure of performance from you. So in other words, this is also going to make you feel better, lighter, more healthier. It's a healthier approach and healthier way of living. So the energy is allowing you to bring in, to be very transparent, to be very clear, to have high integrity, high values, and genuine honor, not performative honor. So you have to be very honest with yourself, not strategic. This is not the time for strategies and playing roles and all of that. This is the time to get really honest with yourself and present yourself in the most genuine way possible to people, friends, family, at work, because the thing is then when people maintain high integrity and high standards, there is no scope for any kind of rumor about you, or wrong things said about you. Especially, now I'll give you some examples. Like, in the sports world, there was like, a few years back, there was like dope compliance. Like, people were taking dopes and all of those steroids for high performances and all that. So that's kind of a little bit of dishonesty out there. So in the sports world, that was a thing. Those kind of instances were brought to light a few years back. So I would say that would be one example of like being dishonest. It could play out, dishonesty could play out in several ways, like the investment you make. Is that truly you? Can you speak about your investments? Are you investing the right things, or are you investing the wrong things? Your time, energy, money, all of that. So you should be able to produce accurate documentation of where your money is going and all of that, where it's coming from. So in the sense that, when you do the right things, you sleep peacefully. That's the energy out here. So make sure you're doing things that are high vibe, high value, doing the right things even when no one is watching. And that happens only when you honestly acknowledge and assess the gaps of your values, your words, your actions, and all of that. When you align yourself with the truest of the knowledge that you have, that's when you're able to, accept the respect that comes, because it's a genuine respect for who you truly are. Because otherwise people respect you for who you fake to be, who you project to be. And the respect is not genuine. It's a fake respect. It's a respect to the person who's demonstrating a certain kind of persona, and it's not really the true self. So I feel that it's your chance to course correct, or to correct that, or to correct any gaps. Because I believe that in your reading, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong though, but you had a hermit in the reverse, and you also had a desert energy. So those are both aligning with this. It's kind of sequence. You gain the wisdom. You climb down the mountain with that wisdom. You went through the desert energy, which is a strip off. Desert, only valid things survive, right? The desert energy will tell you what exactly survives through that heat, through the barren land, through those difficult situations. What is it what quality, what survives? Honesty survives. Weakness doesn't survive through the desert energy. So that desert energy has showed you what exactly survives the test of time, survives any harsh environments. And I feel that now this honor in the reverse is a perfect time to ask yourself, like, how are you truly showing up in the world? Is it your true values that you show to the world? Yeah. How do you show up in your relations? Or how do you show up at your workplace? Do you just fake things? Like, do you make up things that you're not? So this is, in general, a very protective energy. It protects you because you don't have to fake it. You don't have to lie about anything. You don't have to perform anything. You're just honest, plain and simple. You just show up exactly as you are, not as you would like to be. Yeah. A true version of you shows up, and that's a version that will be valued, respected, and that's a true respect that makes you feel good, that people respect the true version of you. So this is not by any means a failure on your part or a dishonor. It's just that, you need to, definitely the energy is available where you need to ask yourself some difficult questions and be honest with yourself and align yourself with the truest of values or the truest of who you truly are. And do things that truly matter to you. Align the things that truly matter to you, not what the world thinks you should be aligning with because of the certain image of yours. So I do feel that you're up for a hard challenge, but I feel that you will be able to get through this. Like really, you have the courage, Leo is strength card. There's a line in that. You have the courage. You will come through this energy in the most cleanest, purest possible. And on the other side of this energy is a cleaner and purer version of you that you will appreciate too. The next card you have, Leo, is the ladybug and sweet pea, happiness. And this is number 35. This is beautiful energy, Leo. You just had the honor in the reverse, which is about realigning yourself, right? To not be performative, to be genuine, to be honest with who you are and present yourself as the real person. And I feel that as soon as you're done with that analysis, look what's waiting for you. Happiness, ladybug, good fortune, sweet peas. This is a beautiful energy. This is good fortune. This is like, the ladybug Yeah, in the olden days, they used to say that the ladybug has those spots, right? So they used to say it like something like count those spots and it brings good fortune for so many years or months or something like that, they used to say. But let's take a look at this. It's a beautiful image, and it's a really powerful image that is shown with the ladybug in the center, which I feel is like the sun, which is you. And then there is these sweet pea flowers, not exactly flowers, these are buds, right? They're about to bloom, not fully bloom. So the happiness is unfolding for you. The good times are unfolding for you. There's so much happiness for you to be had, to be felt, to experience. There is so much joy which is coming. You're going to feel really good. Your high energy is going to be restored to you. I feel that, sometimes when our energy is consumed in just portraying ourselves to be someone else, when we cut that aspect out and conserve our energy, we feel more vibrant, we feel more energetic, because you don't have to fake anything. You just show up as your true self, and that's what creates the true happiness to begin with. And I feel that it does take strength. And I already mentioned to you in the honor, in the reverse, it will take strength. And here you go, number 35, which is the number 8. It is the strength card in the tarot. So strength card is your card, Neo, and it shows up in your messages, which is really powerful, positive omen for you. And even the planetary alignments are aligning, because I feel Venus right now is in Gemini, which is heading towards Cancer, and Jupiter is already in Cancer, which is your neighbor, 4th house. Cancer is 4th house archetype. You are the 5th house. You are the neighbor. There's a lot of pouring of love, beauty, good things for you. When Venus and Jupiter, they conjunct, it's the best energy you could have. It's like Cupid, at its best, or Cupid at its most peak, or powerful Cupid out there, doing overdrive, blessing you so much, bringing so much happiness for you. So I do see you being in a high spirit, enjoying the time, enjoying the good stuff. And happiness, happiness is, let me tell you, is not a luxury. Happiness is a necessity, just like food and water. Being happy, genuinely happy, not faking smiles for pictures, being genuinely happy, laughing, enjoying the small moments, enjoying the jokes, living in the moment, being fully present in the moment is true happiness. When we can actually keep our phone aside and be engaged in activities and conversations and meals and, just living it up is the true happiness. That's when you feel we're truly happy. When we laugh so loud that we actually snort out is the actual stress buster. So I feel those kind of moments are yours for the taking. Enjoy those moments wherever you are, with whoever you are. Be fully present, make the most of those moments. Forget about checking your phones periodically, just enjoy the jokes, the presence of people. That's what the sweet pea is all about, the sweetness of life, the joy in the simple things, joy in walking outside, being about in the nature. And a lot of people, in today's times, they are taking to these experiences, these joyful moments, versus faking richness, faking status and all of that. People are really spending time, energy, money on experiences. It's called I think it's called the experience economy or something like that. They want to go out there, they want to have fun, they want to travel, they want to experience things, versus spend on luxury clothes and all of that. Well, if you have the money, by all means, but the preference today is shifting. The tide is shifting. They want to live frugally, and they want to spend money on good experiences, going here, there, everywhere. So I feel, and that increases their happiness, on a daily basis. There's a lot of discussions also around wellness economy. There's retreats opening up everywhere. People are traveling more than ever before. They're spending time in nature more than ever before. That economy of spending on experiences is thriving today. And that's why I feel the importance of happiness as realized by the world collectively. I mean, countries paying attention to how people can, how can we add happiness and wellness into the lives of people, like cutting down on hours or, and those kind of initiatives are popping up. Even companies at an individual level are taking initiatives to be more flexible, be more open-hearted, and having those events and activities to bring people together and having good experiences together that actually increases productivity. It's known to increase a lot of productivity as well. So I do feel that, very soon you'll feel that, you're alive, you have the energy, you're just enjoying every moment, you're just laughing, singing, buying things that really matter to you. Flowers, decorating your home, cooking meals, or going out to restaurants that you really enjoy, cooking the food that you really enjoy, not for pictures or Instagram poses or something like that. It's like just enjoying, enjoying with the people that are around you, connecting with them, talking to them, having a good time. And that will show, when you are enjoying in the moment, that happiness is contagious. It radiates. People see when you are honestly present, enjoying the small moments. So yeah, I do feel that a lot of positivity is coming towards you. You might be planning things in the outdoors, some kind of picnics, or just, doing things that really make you happy. Dressing comfortably versus dressing for, clicks or pictures. Going to places that are maybe small towns, happy or white small town, or just doing things, with your friends, playing games, watching movies, eating out, or just sitting in the patio and eating over there, something like that. I also feel that some of you might be investing into those things, investing into yourself, or just, going for massage or spas, or, watching some comic movies and things like that. For some of you, just doing things that matter, that elevate your frequency, whether it's drawing, painting, coloring, and just watch, going out in the nature, just sitting out there, sipping a cup of tea, coffee, and just letting be, just letting be, like the childlike energy, like something that made you happy like the child, non-judgmental ways, just laughing away and smiling away, just being genuinely happy, not smiling or posing for the camera. So I do see a shift out there in the way you present yourself, the way you find happiness, the way you connect with people, the way you interact with people. Maybe you're meeting people that you haven't seen in a long time, extending yourself, or just having a good time with them and feeling appreciated, and also passing compliments to people, So it's a very warm, genuine, connected energy. People might be noticing and complimenting you for your new take on things, So this is a very positive energy. I feel that you're going to be so open-hearted, in a very generous, giving, sharing, maybe your time, your energy, the meals that you cook. Maybe you're having people over for dinner, or you're being invited to places for dinner with friends, or you're having picnics or something like that, or potlucks or something like that. So you're shining, you're radiating, you're beautiful, and people will see that shift in you, from a performative energy to a genuine presence. People can sense every bit of it, and you will probably hear that from a lot of people as well. So good things are coming your way, and these are really good times. Savor it and enjoy, bask in it, and choose to be genuinely happy. And the last card for today you have, Leo, is a message from Cosmos. And it says, sing like the birds, not worrying about what others think. Be yourself. Share your heart. Speak your truth. This is exactly summarizing what we went through, the energies, right? There is a mic. You might be having some kind of karaoke. You might be singing, dancing, or going partying, going to some concerts, or just, singing. Not worried about if you're sounding right, if you're forming right, or if you're looking right, or if you're singing the right lyrics, or having the right posture, or sitting right. No. Singing like, no, there's no one else who's watching you, It's like singing like the birds, without a care, without worrying about any judgment, worrying about what people are going to think or say about you. And that's exactly the energy, from you going from a performative energy to a genuine energy where you feel lighter, you feel like you don't have nothing to hide, nothing to mask, nothing to nothing to project even. You're just being yourself. So the next few days are very transformative for you, Leo, where you are sharing your joys, opening your heart to people, and you're just speaking things like you're feeling it without mincing the words, without filters. I mean, not exactly without filters, but of course in the most genuine way, like you're saying whatever you feel, not, or what are people going to think if I say that? Or what are people going to think if I act like this, or if I wear this, or if I do this? No, you don't care. You just don't care. You're happy as you are. You're enjoying as you are, and that's what matters. And I think that's what the universe is advising you to do. Be you and have fun. It's a great energy here, Leo. Those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Sagittarius. So the first card you have, Sagittarius, is number 6, and it says relationship. Now, if you look at the picture, this is like a lover's card energy, major arcana. There is a Gemini archetype to this energy, but it's shown in a little different way. Like it's a different deck, of course, it's a different image. Two people out here, they are, a very compatible energy. They have wings, which is like a divine presence. And, the person, the masculine hand is on the chin of the person, the girl. And so it's like a very, I would say a very honest, open energy, even without saying. They're expressing quite much. It's a very expressive energy. And yeah, so I do feel that here for you, Sagittarius, that this is a time of, a little bit of a transformation. Because, it's not just surface level, right? It's at the internal core level that the energies come together. And, when the energies come together in a loving embrace, there is a huge transformation at the inner core that goes on. It's almost like sudden, it's immediate. The transformation can be felt. And with the current planetary movements, this is Venusian energy also. And Venus is right now stepping into Cancer, where Jupiter has already been there for a long time, for some time now. So it's like Venus and Jupiter together in the sign of cardinal Cancer, which is already a sign of, Cancer is an archetypal energy of water, of depth, it's represented by the crab. I feel that this is an energy available to you, Sagittarius, where you're connecting with people. Eventually the undercurrent of this energy is choices. So you're making choices about, the people, the connections that you make. Also, there's an energy of some kind of, healing that happens when we connect with people. And this could be any person. It doesn't have to be a Cupid kind of a connection, but any kind of a connection, when people come together, they heal us in some way. So I feel that this energy is allowing you to connect deeper with people. For some of you, establish newer connections. And just warmth, support, and connections that are healing to us. And this is also an energy of choosing to love, and leaving the fears behind. So I feel that, the people that are around you, or the new people even that you might meet, you feel very deep connection of some sort. It's like, yeah, we've been there. You're so comfortable. You talk easily. There is, you feel the camaraderie immediately. You don't feel like there is inhibitions or people that, it's like a soul level recognition. I would say not connection, but a recognition that, yeah, this person is, my frequency, my kind of person, my type of person, shares my energy, shares my views, my ideologies. For some of you, this could be at work, this could be your teammates, this could be at your neighborhood, your friends. People that you're meeting after a long time. Could be school friends, college friends, people from the past that have also been on a journey. They have changed, and they are now matching your frequency. For some of you, it could be that as well. But yeah, this is like a loving. For some of you, this can go along with, this can go somewhere. Also, this could be kind of, I commit to this energy, I commit to this relation, or I commit to this friendship, or I want to stay in touch, or let's be in touch, something like that as well. But also when it comes to the lover's energy, Venus and Jupiter being in the same sign, it's like a lot of manifestation. Venus is a very loving, giving, aesthetic, beautiful, environmental beauty for some of you. This could be the love for the environment, where you go. You're choosing places that are probably nature-based. Look at the picture over here. It's like flowers. It's a very beautiful blue background. It's very GEMINI kind of a background. So for some of you, you could be choosing some kind of places that are nature-based, or have a lot of plants around in the, around the house, or in the neighborhood, or in the community, or even cities. Some cities are now becoming more environment friendly, and you could be choosing that kind of energy where it stays more cooler, or with the weather. Maybe you're moving because of the weather. You prefer certain kind of weather. So yeah, and it's good. This is like where you're not thinking. This is more emotions engaged, because the house of Cancer is more watery, connected to emotions, right? So there is a more engaging of emotions versus thinking if this person is right for me or not, or does this person, bring something to the table for me or not. So that's not the energy of the lovers, right? We disconnect, like the other person might be doing their own thing, and we don't care what they do in their professional life. We've got nothing. We're not connecting with them because they bring something to the table, or they add some value to our life. It's just that we feel, a connection, and we want to talk, we want to celebrate, we want to go out, we want to have a good time, and all of that. So this is those kind of connections. But at the same time, there is, like I said, there is a choice current energy which is underneath the lover. So you have to be mindful of the choices, because again, these are soulful connections, and while soulful connections are good, we sometimes attract those people that bring us some lessons that are not easy to deal with. So there is a little bit of a caveat with this, that you have to, or not fully allow the emotions to get the better of you. You also need your mind, to choose wisely. So don't jump into it. Yes, there is an energy of going the distance, or yeah, let's keep in touch, and I see the potential, but you have to first feel the energy for some time in order to believe it. It shouldn't be like a rose-tinted glasses, like love at first sight and the marriage the second day. That's not what this is. So you meet people, you meet them again, you spend some time, you watch them, you observe how they react, and are they the same every time? And then we kind of get into the higher level energies. So there is this Archangel Raphael in the background. So some of you can be meditating on angels as well. And especially for, I have to say it out loud, for people that are from the past, and they, of course they have, evolved over a period of time, and they come back, there's a reconnection, you meet them somewhere, you talk for hours, and you feel like the person has changed. By no means the energy of this card indicates that this is a second chance. For some of you, it could be wise about it. This can also be like a kind of a reassessment of that person. Like, is this person like really transformed, really changed, So while you might consider meeting them again or spending time, there is still, you have to watch out. So, keeping a watchful eye and not getting carried by your emotions is the warning that comes with this energy. So you will see some people come by, text you, message you, spend time with you. You might be going out with people that are that you consider your soul family. This is coming together with people that, you could open up a business with, or you could travel with, or you could work together with in some way. And this is also a peace initiatives. So since the warm energy is available, so might as well, let go of all the negativity or negative emotions. So that this energy will also favor anything you do, keeping love, coming from a space of love, because it's guided by Venus energy. So at this point in time, any action that you take, any step that you take coming from a space of love is going to sit well, is going to give you better results than you had anticipated. Now, for some of you, this can also be the love of your craft, even divine love, spiritual love. This can also be growing spirituality. This can also be growing love for your profession, your business, your craft, your hobbies. This can also be, in general, a nice energy for connection, for family time, for friends time, for doing some collective initiatives with the neighborhood, or as a city, or as a community, coming together as a community. So this energy is available to you to connect with different kind of people from different backgrounds, to meet with them, to learn from them, to work with them. It's that kind of an energy. And I'm getting that Taylor Swift's song, Lover. So I feel that kind of a vibe for some of you. It could be that song, has a thing or two, has something in it for you. But also I feel that I'm picking up an energy where if you were at odds with something or someone, a certain situation, that kind of dissolves, and maybe, like, for example, if you pitched an idea and the person was not on the same page, but now they come back because they understand where you're coming from and the idea sits well with them. So maybe they were on the opposition team from you, but now they want to collaborate with you. For some of you, could see a shift in perspectives from people that were opposing you. That energy is also available. And at the end of the day, because this is a strong energy for couples, for coupling up, for planning your weddings, for coming together in, for getting engaged, or, start new relationships. So all of those can also be happening to you, or even around you. This could be people around you or in the environment around you, where people are starting to open up their hearts to dating, meeting new people. And it's, where people were on guard. And you probably see that around you, that people are more warm, welcoming, connecting. They like to spend time. They're starting to date, or they're getting married, or they're getting engaged, or they are planning things for their wedding, for their family. Something like that can also be happening. A lot of Venus energy. Venus brings all the beauty, flowers, hookups, connections, marriage, and all the lovey-dovey stuff. And in conjunction with Jupiter, it's like a boost, a huge growth, expansion. So this is an expansion energy, expansive energy. So this could work in neighborhoods around you, in cities around you, where the city is coming together to organize something for the residents, or the neighborhood is coming together. This can also be, it's like, people are more inclined towards decisions that connect people versus separate people, is the underlying feeling that I'm picking up. So this could be any kind of decisions, whether at the corporate level, or at the government level, or at the city, or at the neighborhood level. The energy here is to establish more connections, to work together, versus separate and fight and argue and bicker. That's not what this is. So you will see a lot of collaborations, people working harmoniously better than before. And you'll see that people are much, warmer, smiling more, in a more better mood, ready to go out together, to lunch together, to dine together. They're more ready. They more want to extend themselves. They more want to open themselves up to meeting people, and all of those things. Now, others of you might be also inspired to, look at gems or jewelry, getting more a chapter, or you see new kind of jewelry, or an sudden interest in, pottery, aesthetics, or decorating your house. Oh, sorry. Or you taking care of yourself, buying clothes and all of that. So for some of you, you will definitely see a growth and expansion in that area. So like you might be changing up the way you dress, or you might be changing up the way you look. And jewels, aesthetics and furniture and all of those also comes under the domain of Venus. And this can also be healthy living, wellness. Some of you could be taking initiatives on that, or this could be something related to land, land and beautifying the land, or buying properties in beautiful places. This can also be, something about expressing your affection, your love, how much you value the other person, or just in general, appreciating people. You don't have to like shout from the top of the roof, but it's just like being appreciative and being open about it. Like if you like something about somebody, maybe compliments, or if somebody helped you to to kind of acknowledge them, to send them some flowers, to thank them, and you'll see a lot of open appreciation from people as well. Like in general, people will be more open to appreciating each other or celebrating each other. So it's a very kind of a uniting kind of energy. The next card you have, Sagittarius, is it says the porcupine and anemone, and further it says boundaries. Okay, so we see a porcupine here, and we know the porcupine, it has these quills, and those quills are definitely for protection. And then there is this anemone flower over here. So this is beauty, this is softness, this is purity. It's color white. So porcupines are naturally blessed with these quills that are for its defense. And if you see the head of the porcupine, it's in a little downward pose, right? It's a little bit of a thinking, mindful energy. When the head bows down, it's like, you're thinking. There's of course there's purity with these white flowers. There is mindfulness, there is thinking, there is clarity, there is like with the protection, the quills are for the defense, for the protection. There is also this softness, this purity of the anemone flowers. And if you, and porcupines for the most part, they're not very aggressive. They're not always in an attack mode. So I feel that for you, Sagittarius, the energy of this is that, well, while there is a protection, defensive energy, there's also softness, pure energy in the same frame, right? So it's just speaking about your setting of the boundaries in a gentle way, as part of taking care of yourself, as part of taking care of your energy, your time, your resources, not draining yourself. I feel there is a soft connotation to these boundaries. It's not about feeling defensive because there is a threat. That's not the kind of energy. It's just having, having the boundaries, the protection to protect yourself, like to protect your energies, to be able to understand like who has access to your energy. It's part of self-care too, right? Because we should not be draining ourselves to serve other people. And it happens a lot of time, and nothing, I wouldn't say that we have to blame ourselves or to, be harsh on ourselves, because that's how, the society is. That's how the world operates. And sometimes we kind of overextend ourselves, and we get in the habit of doing that. We get in a habit of extending ourselves for a different kind of reasons, myriad of reasons. While that serves the purpose at times, the only caveat is that it kind of becomes a habit of ours, and we don't even realize when overextension becomes a habit. So this energy is out here, and especially for you, Sagittarius. You're the mutable fire energy. You're always like, the fire archetypal people who have that archetype a lot in them. They're high energy, highly driven, very creative individuals. So this is asking you to, keep that energy for yourself as well. And this is the time where you probably need to do a little bit more of that. So kind of know when to extend yourself, know when to, have a busy schedule, work around schedule, so you have time for yourself as well. This is also an energy of we need to, how you present yourself, how you present yourself, how you show up in the world. Do you show up as a person who can be, always exploited for their time and resources? Or do you show up as a person who who presents themselves in a way that people know if they have access to you and your resources or not? It's just a simple, it's not a very harsh judgmental energy, but it's just a understanding that, these boundaries is not like you have put up a wall or high barriers. It's not a defense. Again, it's not a 7 of Wands or a 9 of Wands kind of energy. It's a gentle energy to just know, when you're ready to give. And you don't have to be doing things out of obligation. You don't have to overstretch yourself. You don't have to burn yourself out. Yeah, because, boundaries, it comes to me like sometimes we invite energies that are hard to then deal with. So it's that kind of a mindfulness, like who are you inviting and for what reasons is also something that you can look into and pay attention to. How much you want to be generous with is also something that you have to be mindful about. Because like I said, Sagittarius archetype is expansive, it's inclusive, it's very generous. And in doing so, the word no kind of gets erased out of your dictionary. You're always like, welcoming, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll do this, that. And, because you're large-hearted, you are giving, generous, mutable, and you don't want to disappoint people. For a lot of us, we don't want to disappoint, and that kind of adds up. So if something like that is adding up, this is, a caution for you to scale back on that. Also, there is something about a self-respect, like, people who have done wrong in the past, how much do we want to welcome them, How much do you want to, over a period of time, our, those memories fade away, our energies kind of blend and our heart softens, but not to forget that what happened in the past, So make sure that your self-respect is not on the line, especially when people who have done wrong are reapproaching. Because, this energy of the anemone is, if you see the significance of it, it is present here because you have learned how to transform painful past experiences into something beautiful for you. That's why this anemone flower shows up. It's highly significant of a flower that indicates that you have transmuted some kind of a negative experience or a loss or something difficult into something beautiful for yourself. And, you have learned something out of it. You have gained that wisdom to know how to protect yourself. That's the only reason when this anemone flower shows up, there is a purpose to it. So there is, of course, a transmuting energy with these anemone flowers, you know. The hurt that we have endured has taught you how to protect yourself. So don't forget about that. Now, this is not your energy. This can be something around your environment, you know. In the world, also, there's like boundary setting which is going on, whether it's boundaries at work or boundaries in time, like up to what time do you want to clock in and clock out of your work? You know, you need some time for yourself as well. So there are a lot of people, countries, organizations that are, recognizing the boundary setting in terms of how many hours do you want to clock in and how much, when do you want to draw the line? Like, you know, is 11 p.m. okay to answer calls or respond to messages? And all those kind of things are also at the forefront of consideration. So you might experience some organizations or your environment shifting up around that energy as well. For some of you, this could be about you yourself setting up boundaries. Like, you know, in the social media world, we kind of get consumed. So for some of you, you might be scaling back on that. Like, okay, when you're talking, when you're in a party, you want to keep your phone in the purse, or you want to keep your phone upside down, like, you know. Or you turn off those ding-ding notifications because you just want to be in the moment. That's kind of an energy of drawing a boundary in the digital world. For some of you, this could be in regards to your home. Like you want to buy a home which has, like, you know, high boundary walls, or, something around maybe it's gated, maybe it's, it's kind of gives you a protection energy. It's not that open, visible. Maybe the windows are in a certain location, or the doors are big, or something like that. That kind of delineates spaces, creates a little gentle boundary, you know, because especially with the neighbors, you know, you don't want everybody peeping into your house. So some of you could be creating some kind of hedges or boundaries in regards to protecting your own personal space. Some of you could be dealing with disputes in regards to land and boundaries, or what is allowed, what's not allowed, the rules. When new laws and rules are released by the companies, corporate, social media, and all of that, it's kind of telling you what is acceptable, you know, where they want to draw the line, what are the boundaries. The corporates will state it out that this kind of clothing is not allowed. That's, you draw a boundary on what kind of clothing is accepted, or, this kind of behavior is not allowed, or something like that. You know, you might hear some laws come up around that, or in your neighborhood, or in your friend circle or family, where people are kind of telling, you know, what their preferences are. No, I would not prepare it like this, or I would not, you know, instead of just people pleasing their way into, okay, everything is okay. So you might hear some kind of preferences come up, and people speaking up more in regards to the preferences because they no longer want to people please as much, you know. So there is a gentle balance. People are trying to come up to. Some of you might be doing that too. For some of you might also be in the media or in the, movies or some kind of creative arts where you're trying to, again, write some contracts like this will not be accepted, or, it's like, what do you say? Like, you might be in the media where you might be popular with the media or something in the creatives where you're like, you know what? No, I'm not going to allow this. Like, when you go to a showroom or a museum and people say, don't touch this, that's the kind of, like, gentle boundaries that museums and artsy spaces, they put on people. Like, don't step beyond this, don't touch this, because they know that your fingerprints are going to be all over, you could drop something. So that's kind of a boundary setting when it comes to creative spaces. So for some of you, you could be getting into some contracts that give you that space, that privacy, that boundaries between media, where media is allowed, where they're not allowed, what should be, permitted, and all of that. Even these days there's a movement where people are shifting trends on, how much cosmetics should be worn, how much, pressure they can take. Like, because especially in the cinematic world or movie world or media, or when you're on screen, this kind of demands that the industry put on people, like, okay, do this, do that, don't look like this, don't look like that. In terms of their, appearance is how they want to look, and all of those standards that were there, so that you might see those kind of, pushback from people, like, I can't do this. This is the limit. I cannot do that. Yeah, and they kind of stating their limits in some way or form. So the underlying current is that you can say no. You don't have to say yes to everything. But when you say no, doesn't mean you're a rude person, doesn't mean you don't have a heart. Don't ever feel that people are going to think that you don't have a heart just because you said no to something, So this is the kind of, we started with how you show up, and that's exactly what it is. Like with your gentle lanterns, with your gentle, without explaining too much, but still without being too harsh, kind of a team that balance as to how you can weigh it. You can be like, no, I can't do it. No, I can't. Like, oh, you know what? I wish I could. But I won't be able to because I got this going, or I have another appointment. That's enough, And I feel that some of, the energies around you are shifting, or your energy is shifting around that as well, which is a good thing. And the last card put to the Sagittarius you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, these pains you feel are messengers. Listen to them. Getting signs, learning messages from spirit. Right, so there is a cactus out here. Again, desert energy, defensive energy. Cactus knows how to save up water because it's a desert plant. Some of you could be traversing in deserts and you're trying to be protective of yourself, like I don't get burned, and all of those, you're taking measures for that. But you might be in terrains or places that need some level of protection, whether even sunscreen is protection, right? It's kind of protecting yourself with sunscreen. So some of you could be buying gear that will protect you in some kind of landscapes that you probably could be traveling, or you could be buying gear for protecting yourself, like while you're training. Even athletes, they wear these helmets, knee pads, and all of that. Some of you could be putting protective gear in your cars, your bikes, your homes, to draw boundaries and protect yourself energetically. Some of you could be taking 2 gemstones and those evil eye, kind of stones to ward off, or doing some saging to protect energetically your space. But you're feeling the pains because of overextension, and you feel that, that pain. Every time you feel some pain, whether it's a body ache or whether it's a heartache, we know where to draw the boundary. Like, where did we overextend ourselves? What did we do that caused us this hurt? That teaches you a thing or two about how to, further establish a little bit more of a boundary. Oh, I should not have said yes to that, or I should not have just brushed it off. I should have just stated what I feel. Those kind of moments teach you on how to handle those situations, and they build more resilience, they build more strength. But at the same time, doesn't mean that you have to erect those strong fences and defenses, right? It's just a gentle way of learning that, oh, you know what, last time I did this in person, kind of looked me in on situations where I didn't want to belong, because maybe I kind of went along with it and they probably couldn't tell if I was not interested. But next time I'll be sure to use a word or two that will or a gesture or two in a gentle way that'll explain to them that I'm not interested, so that I don't get looped into invites or situations that I will even want to be a part of. So kind of syncing your actions, your hearts, your mind in gentler ways. So you are going to be listening to your signs. You're going to be getting signs from people, or signs from your body, or signs from spirit and universe that this situation is non-favorable and you should not be a part of it. So please convey it as gently as you can and take a stance that you will not be a part of it in a general way. So while the cactus is prickly, nobody goes near it because they know they will be hurt. So this is something to take away from cactus, right? So, and it looks nice. It's not that people don't go to desert places, or they don't go to safaris, or they don't go to landscapes that have cactus. It's not that they're running away from them. They just know how to coexist with the cactus, They know the cactus, and they don't even need, the cactus doesn't even need to tell them. They already know it. So people, you kind of build that kind of aura or a personality that people know that when they touch you or get that close or they cross a boundary, they will be pricked. So, and the same thing with the porcupine energy. The porcupine doesn't go and bite people or attack people, but they know that if they get too close to a porcupine, they will be hurt with its quills, right? So the defense is there, and people are to coexist. They just don't get that close that they will be hurt because they know that there is a possibility they will be hurt when they cross the boundary. Now, when somebody gets close to a cactus and standing there, they won't be hurt. They hurt when they try to touch the cactus, right, and get that close. That's the kind of aura that I think all of us should learn to develop at some point in time, or you're being asked to develop, maybe because you're overextending yourself, who knows. So, Sagittarius, those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. So, thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.